Welcome to this edition of Simsbury School News. My name is Dominique Avery. In our program today, you're going to meet two Simsbury Elementary School students and their teachers. Why have we chosen to interview them? The students are young inventors who were among the 55 state finalists who were chosen to go to the National Invention Convention held in Washington, D.C. May 21st. In a minute, you'll get to meet them. Tarrafil student Emma Cheffer and Central School 6th grader Leah Marr, and find out all about their fascinating projects. But first we're going to chat a little bit with their teachers, Tarrafil 4th grade teacher Kim Loveland, who is in charge of the Invention Convention program at the school, and Steve Petrella, who is a 6th grade teacher at Central School. Kim, I'm going to start with you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about why you got involved in the whole Invention Convention project at Central.
So I have been very interested in science, throughout my whole life, and I love, just hearing the new ideas, and it's so inspiring to hear what each of the kids come up with every year. And I just love the hands-on science and just getting actively involved in the creating of the process.
Steve?
Very similar. I always loved science. I studied science in college, and a funny thing is my wife actually, when she was in elementary school, was a finalist for her invention convention, and she invented, she called them treasure-seeking pants. She put pockets, she sewed pockets on her pants, and I always knew it would just be a great thing that the kids would really get into it because they love to be creative, they love to, invent things and, find solutions to problems. So just natural for kids to do it.
So if your wife was involved in the Invention Convention, was that in Connecticut?
No, she was involved in New Hampshire, but at Connecticut's Invention Convention, I think it's been around for like 35 years?
Or somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. So it's been around for a long time. And different states have different models that they've used, but it's been around for a long time.
So, Kim, what was the process at your school at Tarrafil for getting the kids involved?
So we run it as an after-school program, and it's open to kids at Tarrafil from 3rd through 6th grade. And we just meet once a week after school from December to March. And I open it to any student in those grades who just wants to try it out. Some make it till the end, some don't. But it's very open for the kids to join and participate, and we do a lot of hands-on activities and engineering labs and types of things, and we also work on their inventions in the program after school too.
Steve, how does it work at Central?
At Central, yeah, it's the same thing. We meet after school. We started with about 50 students, and we did grades 4 through 6. But then, I think the kids realized that it's, you hear Invention Convention Club, but there was a lot of work that goes behind it. So we do lose a few kids as it goes, and it was our first year that we had ever done it before. So it was new to me, finding out the different engineering things that we could do and little puzzles for them to solve, and then also like giving them time to work on their invention, brainstorming, a lot of brainstorming, learning about the engineering cycle. So it was probably, I think, about 10 to 12 meetings all together in about an hour after school.
How many, Kim, schools participate in Simsbury?
I believe there are 3 now. I think it's Tarrafil, Central, and Squadron at this point.
So what is the pitch you first give to the students? How do you announce it? How do you tell them about it? How do you inform them about it?
When we're getting it started each year, I go around and actually meet with every 3rd through 6th grade class. I mean, we're a small school, so I kind of pop into all the classrooms and talk about it. And I, explain the procedures and what we do and kind of get them excited by talking about we're going to make a mess after school and do all these hands-on activities and, tear things apart, put them back together. And I try and just, build excitement and then, talk about some of the different project ideas and the end result of going to UConn and some of the bigger events, which kind of gets them fired up. But I do also, send the message that it is work. You do have extra projects that you need to do. And a lot, kind of dive in and just give it a shot. And, like you said, some make it to the end, a couple, you lose along the way. But it's pretty much just word of mouth. And now that we've been doing it, this is our 3rd year doing it. a lot of the kids who've done it before talk it up to their friends and classmates and say, hey, come on, give it a shot. And kind of a lot of word of mouth from other kids and talking to all of the classes as well.
It's actually interesting to me that Simsbury was kind of late to the game. I mean, I read that there were over 245 schools and 1,700 students at this year's Connecticut Invention Convention, and you guys just have, I mean, your school just started, right?
Right. I think, I've been here in Simsbury for 11 years, and there's so many different opportunities for kids nowadays with all different types of STEM activities and after-school clubs that it's hard to kind of find out which ones you really want kids to be involved in. And I think probably in the past, it's been around so long, there's probably been other teachers that have done it. It's just kind of we're like the newer generation that's kind of now giving it a go. It's definitely something that, talking to principals and other administrators, they're really interested in us continuing and growing it because it does lead so much into the science and engineering that, is kind of pushing a lot of our curriculum right now.
So how many students actually went to the Connecticut Convention at UConn?
From Terriffill, we sent 3 kids. I don't know about Central.
Yeah, we sent 3 kids as well. Yeah, and then there was like 850, I think, 4 through 6.
4th through 8th grade.
Or 4th through 8th grade, yeah.
And then there was another maybe 200 kindergarten to 3rd graders. So we had 2 3rd graders as well.
Okay, now it's time for you. You've gotten used to this whole process of interviewing. Liam, Emma, what made you join the club in the first place, Emma? Let me start with you.
Well, I've done it before once, but 1 year or 2 years ago, and I really liked it, and it was really fun because we got to do, like Miss Loveland said, a lot of hands-on activities. It was really fun doing that, so I thought I'd join.
So what kind of hands-on activities? What did she do to get you engaged in the process?
Well, we got to take apart like little toys, like little screw-up toys, I guess they're called, and then we got this year we got to make a little marshmallow like slingshot or something like that. So that was fun making.
Liam, what got you interested in joining the club with Mr. Petrella?
Well, I've always been interested in inventing, and I've always wanted to start my own company. And when I heard that they were going to do Invention Convention,
So you jumped right in. And so was there something that you did with Mr. Petrella right at the beginning that got you fired up?
Well, he talked to the class before December break, and during December break, I was at my desk every day thinking of inventions.
Aha! So you spent the whole Christmas vacation inventing. Aha! A young inventor here. You're already on the road. So let me ask you before I get to your specific project. You guys first went to UConn for the state convention. You were at Gamble Pavilion. I don't know if you're a basketball fan, or do either one of you watch basketball? Well, Gamble, is everybody in the state knows exactly. It's a huge place. Basketball is played there, and you were there presenting your project. What was that like? Was it scary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely scary.
So you two were there too. Maybe you can describe a little bit what Gamble looked like and how the process worked for their explaining their projects.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, when you first walk in, you have to admit it's definitely overwhelming. There's hundreds of kids everywhere. They have rows of tables set up, and there's just, imagine the whole basketball floor just covered in 850 invention projects. So it's definitely overwhelming, but they have them present in small groups of 10, so it's not quite, so many people listening. But it's definitely quite the experience. Just very, exciting. There's a lot of excitement in the air, but it takes a lot of courage to get up there and present like they did.
Right. I was being my first time going there. I was really impressed with the whole organization. So, you know, they have probably just as many people working there for the Invention Convention that they do for like a basketball game. So they had the concessions open for the kids. They had all the people working like the perimeter, making sure that, you know, kids knew where to go. Then all the judges are, you know, from different companies in Connecticut, and then all the different corporations that give the prizes are there as well. So there's just a ton of people who volunteer their time for that. So that was really special. And then they have you know, the Yukon School of Engineering's there, and they're kind of promoting their brand. And so that was, it was really just, I was blown away with the size of it, like when I saw it for the first time.
Well, you took a picture, which I've seen, which our viewers may have seen in the introduction to the show. I mean, it really is quite mind-blowing how huge that was.
Right.
So, Liam, were you intimidated when you walked in there?
Yeah. I walked in and there were about 400 kids there already. And I walked in and I was like, whoa, this is going to be a lot bigger than I thought it was.
So it's bigger than being at school.
Yes, definitely bigger than being at
So
school.
did you have to make a presentation? Did you have to talk for a few minutes? Or?
Yeah, I had to talk in front of 8 other kids from my judging circle. There are 9 kids in a judging circle, and then there were 2 judges.
Okay, so give us your pitch. How did you do it? What did you say?
So I said, my invention is a Mind Sports Bottle, and it prevents your teammates from drinking out of your water bottle. So there's a magnetic lock that prevents them from opening it, but you would have a magnet in a clothing garment such as a wristband or a shirt, and then you would just place it over the cap and you could open it.
And what gave you the idea to do that invention?
Well, I've gotten strep 3 times from someone drinking out of my water bottle, so I definitely got fed up with people drinking out of my water bottle and me getting sick and having to miss out on school and sports practices.
Oh, so it wasn't that they were drinking your water, it was that they were giving you their germs.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. So do you play soccer or baseball?
I
or?
play soccer, hockey, and lacrosse.
Oh, so you use your water bottle a lot.
Yes.
So how did your invention do at the convention?
I won the ESPN award and a recognition award.
ESPN because it's sports related. Very interesting. And they said they invited you to Washington, right? Yeah, wonderful. Emma, how about your pitch? And how did you had also a group of 8?
Yeah. Well, so I just said, like, hi, where I'm from and everything. And then after, I said, like, teachers have been having trouble covering the windows during a lockdown drill. They either use, like, paper or cardboard with Velcro, but sometimes in the middle of it, like, falls off. So I created the...
So you have a little sample.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can lift it up without screwing us up so that the camera can see a little bit. So you made
Want me
a
to hold
curtain.
it on my lap?
Yeah.
I
Sure.
can put it right here for you.
Okay. So yeah, then you just pull the strings and it comes down like really fast. Oh, but this one was not. Then it comes down really fast in like 20 seconds. But yeah, that's what I made.
So where did you get the idea?
I got the idea from seeing that teachers have been struggling, and so I asked my principal if I could help with that, and he said I could help. And we made a design there.
So your principal actually helped, Kim?
Yes, and we actually have them hanging on every classroom door in our building. So Emma actually sewed all of the curtains, and we now have them hanging up throughout our school. So her invention is actually currently being used at Terriffill School.
And all I see little owls and
Oh yeah,
fish and
they're owls because we have a mascot, and our mascot is an owl.
so that was a big deal. So how did you learn that you were among the 55 Connecticut students being sent to Washington? Do you know how it?
Well, I know how I found out
Okay.
because Emma's mom sent me an email as soon as she got an email. So I have to give credit to Emma's mom. And then I checked my email while I was taking attendance and, getting ready for the day. And then I grabbed my iPad and just ran down the hall to Emma's classroom and yanked her out of class, and we started jumping up and down in the hall, and that's how I found out. And I think that's probably how you found out, right?
So was this a day after or later, or how did this? There was nothing announced.
It wasn't announced
Yeah,
at
it wasn't announced
the
there.
state event, and I think it was that Monday morning at like 8 a.m.
Early
or
in the morning,
Early
yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
And you?
Well, I actually, yeah, so Liam's parents found out before I knew, and so Liam had spread the word among his classmates, and so they came to school kind of with this rumor, and I said, I don't know, I haven't heard anything. And he came in, and he was like unpacking his desk, didn't say anything. And I said, Liam, are you going to National? He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, well, okay. And they had just finished the announcements for the day, so I called up the principal, and she was really excited, and so she got back on the announcements and made an announcement to the school that, you know, Liam was going to the Nationals, so that was pretty exciting.
Okay, so now you learned that you were going to the Nationals, now you actually went, and we're recording this the weekend after you were there. But I saw there was a story in the Hartford Courant on Saturday morning with a photograph of the governor speaking to all the students from the steps of the Capitol. So was that the first time you went to the Capitol, or had you been there before?
I've been there before. In fourth grade, she took us on a field trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how was that, being there at the state capitol and getting the send-off from the governor?
It was really cool, I thought.
Liam?
It was really exciting to see the governor and him actually addressing us, because usually you see him on TV like addressing another group, but he's actually addressing you now.
And so how did you get there? Did you drive in cars, or did you go on a bus, or how did you go?
You want to go?
Wait, you mean to the Capitol?
No,
Oh.
did you leave directly from
yeah.
the Capitol
Oh,
to
yeah.
Washington? Yeah.
I went on the bus with all the other kids. Yeah.
I
Liam,
went on a
you
bus.
too? You too? So bus rides they can be kind of fun with a bunch of kids. Yeah. So how was that?
It was definitely really fun, and there was a lot of kids there. There was a lot of excitement in the air.
It was very long.
It's a pretty long trip. It's 5-6 hours or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys sing at all? Did you sleep?
Yes.
Okay, so now you got to Washington, and you must have had to stay overnight. Did you stay in a hotel, or
Yeah, we stayed in a hotel.
were your parents there too?
My mom was there.
My parents, and my grandparents and my sister were staying in another hotel, and I was staying in the hotel.
And neither one of you went, right?
No,
I
I
couldn't
wasn't
go.
able to make it.
Yeah, me neither.
I went to the Capitol event with Emma, but I wasn't able
nice.
to go on the trip.
So Emma, I also saw a picture, I think from, I'm not sure whether it was Kim, that you were interviewed by a radio reporter who I actually know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what did he ask you about?
My what do you do? Like how you how did you do it? I guess.
So how did it work in Washington? Did you have the same sort of situation where you had to make a short presentation?
Yeah, I think there was 9 kids again in each judging circle, and there were 2 judges.
And you made the same sort of, to me it strikes me as a little bit, do either of you watch Shark Tank, a little Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Is that where you got some ideas, a Shark Tank presentation?
Yeah.
You had to be energetic and convincing, yeah. Yeah, and it was fun, huh?
Yeah.
Did you get to see anything of Washington?
After the trip was over, I was driving home with my parents, so we went to go see the Abraham Lincoln, the monument, I think. Or, Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Would you guys did some stuff as part of the group, right, Liam?
Yeah, at the Air and Space Museum.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was-
Did you get to see some inventions there?
Yeah, we had there was a movie there about how they built the spaceships and getting them to the moon.
yeah.
So you already mentioned that you want to be a business person, inventor. You want to, do you have an idol?
Not really yet. I don't really know that many business people yet, but.
Emma, you have any notions? I mean, you're in 6th grade. I can't imagine having any idea of what I wanted to be when I grew up. But do you have any ideas of what are you interested in sewing? I mean, is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah.
So the whole idea of this program is designed to do what? To stimulate kids to invent, to be creative. What's behind it? What does it bring to the children? Does it change their attitude towards school because it's not just reading and writing and doing figures? I mean, things are so different than when I went to school now. What do you see the basic import of it is?
I think we do a lot with like critical thinking and problem solving, and just kind of it brings an awareness about the world too. Just take a look at the world around you. What can you improve, and how can we make this a better place? It's definitely something I hope they get out of it. But also, I mean, we don't always get to do these types of projects in school, which I always thought were, when I was growing up, my favorite types of things, where you could just kind of not that many rules or not many guidelines, and just have some fun, create something new, and see how you can help the world. And I think that's part of the draw to the program as well, that there's kind of no limit with what you create. It could be something very simple to help you, or just to help out in the world. So I kind of hope that kids just get some problem solving skills, and learn how to apply them, and a little bit of that perseverance too. Like, if something doesn't work, how can you keep going until you get the result that you're hoping for? But also, that world awareness and just fun also.
Steve, you mentioned earlier before we were in the interview that you knew what some of the winners were. That neither one of yours was selected as the top winner, right? Okay, so what did you hear?
So we were talking a little bit about one thing I heard from the Washington D.C. Winners was it was a Band-Aid that actually had the ability to use. You could use it on a touch phone, so that you wouldn't have to try to use a different finger, or if you had multiple fingers with Band-Aids on them, you could still use your phone. And then the other one you guys were kind of describing to me was like an oxygen mask that had a Bluetooth in it, so that you could communicate easily with the mask on, and some noise canceling software to make that sound not come through the Bluetooth, so that when you're in an ambulance, or you have that oxygen on, you can still communicate with the people who are trying to help you out. So it's interesting looking at all the different inventions, because when we started doing it, especially being the first time, that's one of the first activities is kind of just brainstorming inventions, and it was surprising how hard it was. I mean, the kids really, it took time and over and over and over again to really come up with something good. And one of the things that the people who kind of do the training for the Invention Convention, and they keep talking about, is that it's not about how good your invention is really when you finish. Like, it's great to have won, or to have a prize, but the idea of trying to solve a problem and not always succeeding the first time, like you said, with perseverance, and and just that whole idea is really what they want the kids to experience. So even if a kid didn't make it to the end, I hope and I think they learned a lot through the experience, and I just want them to come back the next year with kind of that knowledge they learned the first time trying it, and then really have maybe a little bit of a different way to think about it, or a plan that they'll try. So I think I learned a lot this year doing it, and Liam will be in
certainly hear
7th grade.
Yeah, from Liam's spending the entire Christmas vacation trying to come up with something.
Right.
Some ideas that I heard that won before was something called a Dr. Happy Tie. We'll get fourth grader, and hiccup pops.
Right.
So, do you know? Have you heard about those? Did you tell them about it, or?
In Washington D.C., the girl who created Hiccup Pops came and spoke to us. It took her 7 years to get it just right, and it was a lollipop that if you have the hiccups, it'll help you.
So, perseverance, 7 years, right? It doesn't happen instantly, right? Is that what you learned from it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah?
So yeah, the Hiccapop is kind of one of the ones that I saw. They have, one thing I have to say about the whole program is they have a ton of resources.
Yeah, they
So
really
when you become one of the schools that's going to work with them, they just basically open up their Dropbox drive and they're like, here's everything you'll need. And they have lots of videos, and we saw the girl that won with the Hiccapops. And you know, it was just, it's also a great thing because it's a problem that a kid has. You know, it's not someone, you know
Right.
that a kid said, this is a problem and here's a solution,
Right.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can see that from Liam, who was tired of getting sick from people from drinking from his bottle, and you were concerned about the taking so long to bring down the, you know, or just tape up windows or something, and
Yeah.
both terrific ideas, and thank you so much for coming. We've actually run out of time. I'm so delighted that you came and shared your ideas and shared the program. I'd like to thank everyone here at SCTV behind the scenes for their help in getting the show on the air. Thanks especially to Sam Davidson, who's become a regular here. And thanks especially to my guests, Emma, Liam, and their teachers, Kim Loveland and Stephen Petrella. And finally, thank you for joining us. If you missed any part of the show, you can find it online at simsburytv.org. And remember, all Board of Education meetings are on SCTV or Comcast Channel 96 on the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month. And finally, I'd like to ask you to like us on SCTV on Facebook. We have a lot of information there that can keep you up to date on what we're doing. I'm Dominique Avery. See you next time for Simsbury School News. Since 1984, SCTV has been the place to turn in Simsbury to watch local government in action. But we're more than local government and school meetings. SCTV is the only place where you can check out all the candidates in local elections. We have high school sports and exercise classes. Other shows keep you up on health, finance, poetry, music, and Simsbury hot topics. Now we need your help. Simsbury Community TV is embarking on a major capital fundraising campaign to bring SCTV into the 21st century. We've received a generous grant from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, but now we must match it. We want everyone to watch us on TV or on our website, but even if you never do, please help so that we can continue to keep your government open and you informed. Someday, when there's a crisis, you will want SCTV to be there.
Hi, my name is Steve Mitchell, Vice President of Mitchell Auto Group. I hope you'll join me in supporting SCTV since 1984, your connection to your town, your schools, and your government.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.